Hello, I'm Dr. Eduardo Choa, President of the California State University at Monterey Bay. It is my pleasure to welcome friends, families, supporters, faculty, staff, and graduates to this ceremony. Each of you have made an impact on the CSUMB graduates we celebrate, and we thank you for recognizing their achievements. CSUMB's founding vision calls for the development of a community where we all learn and teach one another in an atmosphere of mutual respect. At CSUMB, we have watched these graduates demonstrate this learning, teaching, and mutual respect through work with faculty inside and beyond the classroom, with service learning in our communities, and with staff through a variety of endeavors. CSUMB's graduates have cultivated a path of being independent thinkers with the ability to be innovative, curious, and persistent. A CSUMB degree is a testament to that work and initiative. Graduates, whether you are the first in your family to attend college or not, your achievement is your own. Never forget to dream big, bold, and boundless. As Nelson Mandela said, when you let your light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we celebrate your accomplishments at CSUMB, we look forward to the bright futures for each of you. We look forward to your personal achievements and your ability to continue your work as valued leaders in our global society. Congratulations.
Tatsalach oikalo. Good day, everyone. It's a great honor to be invited to speak to you during this celebration of your graduation. Liloitza. I'm happy for you and happy for your families. I want to begin by acknowledging that California State University, Monterey Bay, resides on the unceded indigenous homeland of the Esalen people, also known as Carmeleno, Monterey Band, and Rumsen. I acknowledge that I am speaking to you today from Berkeley, which is in the unceded homeland of the Huichin Ohlone, also known as the Chochenyo, who are the once and always caretakers of this land. I acknowledge that everywhere we are, in our homes near and far, we are gathering on indigenous land. This is a positive aspect of the current situation. I imagine some of you have been able to return to your own indigenous homelands and celebrate this day with your people and your ancestors there. Wherever you are, I invite you to acknowledge your lands and indigenous relations. My name is Beth Payatot, and I am Nez Perce enrolled at Colville. I'm a fiction writer, a scholar, and a professor of Native American Studies at the University of California, Berkeley. My educational journey has taken me from a high school in a tiny rural school district in Idaho to a liberal arts college in Kansas, a master's degree at the University of Oregon, and finally a PhD at Stanford. And none of it was easy or straightforward. My parents made sure that we all went to college, but beyond that, there was no path ready-made for me. I made my way the way most of us who come from underprivileged backgrounds make it. I looked at the mountain and headed toward it. I took help wherever I could find it. I worked in grocery stores and restaurants and kept up my grades. I stayed connected to my family and my communities. I am grateful for all the people who helped me along the way. Over many years, I've been able to do the work that I've wanted to do. And I've still got goals on the horizon, and I am still working toward them. By far, the greatest decision I've made is to invest in learning my heritage language of Nez Perce, or Nimiiputun. Although my aunt and uncle were first language speakers, I did not start to learn the language until I was an adult in my 20s. The language has been the greatest companion, guide, and medicine in my life. I'm telling you this not to valorize my own experience, but to reassure you of yours. Be true to the work that's given to you to do in this life. Be a good family member and community member, and keep moving toward your goals, even when there's no obvious path. You will get there. In fact, you've already gotten there. Today is recognition of that. You've worked hard and reached your graduation day. This is a time to celebrate, and for your family and community to celebrate with you. It's a great privilege for me to be part of your graduation ceremony and to have the opportunity to speak to Native graduates and their families. Today, I want to take this opportunity to share two aspects of Indigenous life in which I find strength, comfort, and beauty. Of course, there are many things I could address, as our Native cultures are full of wisdom, power, and beauty. But just for today, I'll discuss two: time and language. Right now, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, our sense of time has shifted at a global scale. Some things are faster and some are slower. It really depends on who and where you are. And the epidemic itself has created its own time, the time of COVID-19. As Native people, we're caught up in this historical moment with everyone else. We are doing our best to take care of ourselves and our families, and we see how Indian country is suffering from outbreaks and working hard to protect elders and others. But as Native people, we also live with a different sense of time and a different sense of survival. We know that Native people have survived repeated epidemics on this continent. We know that we have survived even when the majority of our people died from smallpox or measles or yellow fever or influenza. This is a painful history, but when we focus on our survival, we can be proud, and we can be comforted in knowing that while this pandemic is extremely serious, these are not the worst of times. Our knowledge of Native history gives us strength, and this historical perspective is one of the ways in which our Indigenous sense of time offers an important resource for our well-being. It's not just historical time that gives us perspective. Indigenous people also have a sense of eternal time, and we always have the option to root our actions in that eternal sense of time. When I say eternal time, I mean our sense of having been rooted in this land from the beginning of time. This is the very definition of being Indigenous. And we know that we as Indigenous people will always exist in this land, despite constant stories of our disappearance or impending disappearance. We hear these expressions of eternal time when we participate in ceremonies or in public protests. Our elders speak of long ago time or time immemorial, or simply from the beginning of time to the end of time. Our lives are anchored in this very broad scope of time. In Nimipuutimt, we have different verb endings for the past, the recent past, the simple past, and the remote past, as well as many variations within those. In remote past, or long ago time, the world was made ready for humans. In this remote past, geologic formations like mountains, canyons, and rock outcroppings were made. Animals developed their unique characteristics. Celestial bodies were placed in the sky, and humans were given a code of ethics and practices to live in reciprocity with this world. In short, the order of the world was established. But that time has not been left behind. Rather, it's a vibrant temporality that informs and infuses our lives today. If you look at Nez Perce stories, you see that the action moves freely through the different temporal zones of the past, as well as the present and the future. Although English doesn't have the same linguistic features, this sense of time still translates into other forms of expression, from calling upon time immemorial to ongoing practices like ceremony, singing, and dance. This much larger sense of time influences how we think about and act upon our opportunities now. If we're oriented toward eternal time, then we're concerned with maintaining ceremonies and teachings that assert specific tribal ways of being in relationship to our families, communities, and lands, which include plants and other animals. As you consider the various options that are available to you at this time in your graduation, I encourage you to root yourself in eternal time. If you understand your life work to be taking place in a very long arc of time, you will be willing to take risks that you otherwise might not take. It's quite liberating, really. Each one of us is given particular skills and desires, and our responsibility is to give ourselves to those gifts, and in so doing, to make an important contribution to the world. And our foremost commitment must be to the ongoingness of our Native communities. This takes courage and faith. It takes courage to live in this broader time frame when we might not see the results of our work within our lifetimes. For some people, it takes courage to simply live. We know that suicide, especially youth suicide, is one of our greatest public health issues. According to the CDC, American Indians and Alaska Natives are the highest suicide rate of any group in the country, and it's the 8th leading cause of death for our people. For young people under 25, it's the 2nd leading cause. This means that just choosing every day to live, to be attached to life, is contributing to our ongoingness. Do everything you can to be healthy and connected to life. As Native people, we have many resources for making vocational and life choices. We can rely on the wisdom of our stories and traditions and the wisdom of our elders and families and friends. I also encourage you, following our Nez Perce teachings, to know deeply your own heart and to trust in the desires that come through your heart will lead you. To us, the heart, not the head, is the center of knowledge, courage, wisdom, and relationship. One of our expressions that's guided me is this, Inim Tsa'atimina. It means, I am exactly on my heart. It also means, I am hitting my targets. I am being successful. There's so much wisdom in the fact that this expression contains all. We can trust that when we are true to our hearts, when we are exactly on our hearts, we will be successful. This is what the world wants and needs from us. This brings me to my second point, which is the significance of our Indigenous languages as resources. As Native people, we need to be living in and with our languages to be truly healthy. Some of you may be fully fluent in your Indigenous languages. Some of you may not speak any words yet, and many of you may be somewhere in between. But everyone can choose to be fluent in particular realms. Perhaps you are fully fluent in greetings, or prayers, or kinship terms. Perhaps you are fully fluent in introducing yourself or explaining your genealogy. Perhaps you know idioms or songs or plant names in your Indigenous territories. Again, I urge you to trust yourself that your heart will lead you to define arenas of fluency that will sustain you and ultimately sustain the life of your language and your community. Choose some piece of it that you can carry in your body, that you can carry forward. It will feed you and heal you and guide you. No matter your vocation or other life choices, I encourage each of you to turn to your Indigenous languages as a resource for living, thinking, and thriving. With that, I want to again say, Liloitsa, I'm happy for you on this wonderful day of your graduation. You have worked hard and you are making your families proud. Be proud of yourself and your heritage. As a Native person, you have many resources. You are very wealthy. You have many places from which to draw strength, to support your path, and to make the decisions that you need to make going forward. I hope it will comfort and strengthen you to remember that we as Native people live in a greater temporal reality than everyone else. We have always been here and will always be here. And we know that hard times like this one that we're living in will pass. I hope that you will each turn to your Indigenous languages, the foundations of our knowledge, for everyday guidance, beauty, and medicine. It's been a great honor to share part of this day with you. Yokalo. That's all. Katsiya.
Elisha Barbara Ariola Vasquez, BA Psychology.
Emma Frances Bruner, Master of Business Administration. Azaria Butler Ruthford, BA Humanities and Communication. Courtney Kerrigan, BA Psychology. Stephanie Nicole Ortez Cornish, BA Social and Behavioral Sciences.
Helen Kathy Holquin Dunstan, BS Business Administration Agribusiness.
Marjorie P. Greenfield, BS Sociology.
Leslie Vianney Lopez Zavala, BA Collaborative Health and Human Services.
Emerald Darcy McCauley, BS Business Administration, Management and International Business.
Juan Pacheco Marcial, BA Psychology. Jael Christine Ramirez, BA Liberal Studies. Sierra Savannah Salvatierra, BA Collaborative Health and Human Services. Leah Tallchief, Master of Business Administration.